welcome back, guys, to my channel. This is Mr. Lights Out. We got a scary story tonight. BEKs. Hey, if you guys like content like this, subscribe, will you? It's free. Like too. Thanks. Here we go with our story. The BEK encounter. It was a chilly autumn evening in the small town of Maplewood, where shadows grew longer and streets lay mostly deserted. Emily, a dedicated high school teacher, was driving home after a late meeting about the upcoming Halloween festival. The leaves churned under her tires as she navigated the dimly lit roads, a sense of unease creeping in, a feeling that was hard to shake. And she turned onto a secluded street lined with towering oak trees. She spotted two figures standing at the edge of a flickering street lamp. Her heart raced when she realized they were children, perhaps around 10 or 11. They wore outdated clothing, a faded sweater, and baggy jeans that seemed out of place. Emily slowed her car, and the two children stepped closer, their faces illuminated by the weak glow of the lamp. That's when she saw their eyes, completely black, void of any color or light. "Can you help us?" the girl asked, her voice eerily calm and almost hypnotic. Emily felt an overwhelming urge to open the door, but something deep within her screamed to run. Just then, her phone buzzed with a text from her best friend Sarah, who lived nearby. "Emily, don't let anyone in tonight. Trust me." The urgency of the message made her freeze as she looked back at the children. They both chimed in. "We just want to come inside." A cold shiver ran down her spine as she noticed how they stood, too still, too perfect, as if waiting for her to make a move. With a firm grip on the steering wheel, Emily accelerated, heart pounding. When she reached home, she locked the door behind her and drew the curtains tight, feeling a mixture of relief and dread. That night, she lay awake, haunted by the encounter. Just then, her phone buzzed again. It was Sarah. "I'll come over in 10 minutes. We need to talk." When Sarah arrived, Emily recounted her eerie experience. Sarah listened intently, as her expression shifting from concern to fear. "You're not the first," she said, her voice trembling. "I've heard stories from other teachers. They say if you let them in, they take something from you, your energy, your memories, your life, your mind, something vital." As the wind howled outside, Emily felt a cold presence pressing against her thoughts, a lingering reminder of the encounter. Days turned into weeks, and Emily struggled to shake the feeling that the black eyed kids were still watching her. Strange occurrences began to plague her: flickering lights, objects misplaced, and an unsettling silence that seemed to follow her everywhere. Meanwhile, Sarah noticed similar disturbances at her own home. One night, they decided to investigate. They gathered flashlights and ventured into woods that bordered Maplewood, where many reported seeing the children lurking. As they walked deep into the trees, a thick fog enveloped them, and Emily felt a familiar sense of dread wash over her. Suddenly, they stumbled upon an old, abandoned house hidden among the trees. The windows were shattered, the door hung ajar. "This must be where they came from," Sarah whispered. As they cautiously entered, they discovered a series of photographs hanging on the walls. Images of children, many with the same hollow, black eyed stare. Just then, a whisper echoed through the halls, sending chills down their spines. Help us! It was the same voice from that night. Heart racing, they turned to leave, but the door slammed behind them. Panic set in as they realized they were trapped. The atmosphere thickened and shadows danced in the corners of their vision. In that moment of terror, the two children appeared, stepping out from the darkness, their black eyes gleaming. Why did you leave us? The girl demanded, her voice laced with sorrow. We just want to play. Emily and Sarah exchanged terrified glances, understanding that this was more than just a simple encounter. It was a curse that had been cast upon the town, and they were caught in its grips. Desperate, Emily remembered the story that she had heard about breaking curses, facing the fear head on. What do you want from us? She shouted, her voice steady despite her fear. The children's expressions shifted, a revealing glimmer of sadness beneath their haunting exterior. We're lost, the boy said. We only want to be seen. But as Emily took a step forward, reached out her hand, a cold, dark laugh filled the room, echoing off the walls like a sinister melody. The children's forms began to distort, their faces twisting into expressions of rage and despair. You think you can save us? The girl sneered, her voice transforming into a chilling chorus. You cannot save what is already lost. In an instant, the room plunged into darkness. Emily felt icy fingers grasping at her mind, pulling her into an abyss. She screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the void. Sarah, paralyzed with fear, tried to reach for her friend, but the shadows wrapped around her, dragging her deeper into darkness. The house trembled as if alive, the walls pulsating with a malevolent energy. In an instant, the room plunged into darkness. When the darkness receded, Emily and Sarah found themselves back in the woods, disoriented and gasping for breath. But something was different. These trees around them whispered with an unnatural voice, and the air was thick with a sense of despair. They had escaped the house, but as they looked at each other, their expressions turned from relief to horror. In that moment, they realized they could no longer remember who they were, the memories of their lives, their friendships, even the bond they had shared. Everything was slipping away like sand through their fingers. The laughter, the warmth, the joy of their expressions faded into oblivion, replaced by an overwhelming sense of dreaded isolation. Okay, guys, thanks for coming. Don't forget to check out my playlist and like, share, subscribe. Peace out, guys.